Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our last episode, episode 5. We're here talking about mastering change from overwhelm to empowerment. And we want to take this time right now to ask our expert, Dennis Dowdell, how to change. Like, what are the steps? I already mentioned create a plan, a project plan. What else is there?
Well, obviously, in the first key factor, first step in any change is to understand our purpose. I've got to understand the purpose. In other words, what is my objective? If I'm not clear on my objective, then I'm not going to be clear on what steps I need to take. So I need to be clear on my objective and clear on the purpose. And then the next thing, and this is really more conceptual so that it fits any kind of a situation. And that's, I think we need to begin small. Start small and then accumulate, to try to make a radical change, overnight. You mentioned it before, it just doesn't work well, because it's too much, because especially if it's something that we haven't done before. So we want to begin small. And then you mentioned Stephen Covey yesterday. And so he has a great saying in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He says, begin with the end in mind. And it's so brilliant. And that's why I say, you've got to understand the objective. And so once you have the objective, then it's just simply a matter of questions. If we can learn to ask ourselves profound questions, we can get some profound answer. If we ask surface questions, we get surface answers, Of course, we don't ask any questions, we don't get any answers. So we want to be able to ask ourselves some profound questions. And really, when I have my objective, the first thing I need to understand is, okay, why don't I have that? What are the obstacles that are in my way? See, and when I can think that through and come up with that answer, and I say, okay, goal number 1 is to overcome those obstacles. Okay, so that's my goal, is to do that. Now, question. Why don't I have that? Why can't I accomplish that? What are the obstacles to doing that? And so now I say, okay, well, it's because I need this and we have to have that and this needs to, okay, goal 2. Okay, so now I've got my second goal. Now I got that second goal. So we just have to get this accomplished. Now, problem is, why don't I have that? And so I have to go through that process and say, why don't I have that? Why don't I have that? And we keep asking that until we get to the point and we say, why don't I have that? We say, there's no reason. The only reason I don't have that is a lack of carrying on the proper activities. And these activities are doable. So now I can start with the doable activities, and now I go right backwards, and I have a step-by-step plan as to exactly what I need to do to accomplish whatever I need to do in order to get what I ultimately want. And so that's just that kind of backwards process. So we begin with the end in mind. Why don't I have that? Until it comes down, the only reason I don't have it is because of activities, and then all I do is discipline myself to carry on the activities.
Yeah, absolutely. I disciplined myself yesterday and worked 8 hours on a Sunday because I was like, I don't have time to do this during the week. So I'm just gonna have to do this on a Sunday where my phone's not ringing and no football, nothing. I grounded myself. I was grounded. Mind you, I'm going on a cruise soon for my birthday, so I don't feel that bad.
Congratulations.
Thank you. With that said, I think JC has some information he wanted to share.
Yeah, I'm still getting over the no football thing. You're definitely not in Texas, Wendy. Let me tell you that. All right, so organizations that implement structured change management strategies are 6 times more likely to meet or exceed their project objectives compared to those that do not have a formal strategy. And believe it or not, during times of organizational change, employee turnover increases significantly. Studies show that 28% of employees are very or extremely likely to switch employers within the next 12 months, particularly when they feel disconnected or unsupported during periods and times of transition. Wendy, that's all the stats I have. I've got tons of presidential quotes if you want them, but I'll leave those on the. I'll leave those off to the side. Okay,
I'm okay with the quotes for right now, but I actually want to focus on with Dennis about what you just talked about. Again, that 28% of employees are very or extremely likely to job hop within the next 12 months because they're feeling disconnected because of a period of change. And so, listen, powers that be who may be listening, or I have a feeling many of our listeners need to share this information with their powers that to be to say, yeah, your excuse of not giving me the change I wanted is usually money. Dennis, when you were asking those questions before of asking profound questions, why don't we have that? In my head, I was just going money, 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 because that's what we're always told in HR. Like, no, you can't have that because it's going to cost money. So what's your piece of advice for our listeners when their leaders are giving them pushback on a change that is absolutely necessary? It's needed. It's going to help the business, but we just can't afford it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just enlisting the people in the project, enlisting the change. Really, when it comes to change, and especially major change, we don't want to announce it as a change. We need to make all changes promotions.
Yes.
Okay. We've got something that we're going to promote here for the next few weeks or few months or whatever it is. But, because we all know that change is coming. So we need to get people in on it as soon as possible so that we can say, hey, listen, man, when this happens, and enlist them in on the cause. Because when people, money is always an object for people, right? I never, not only the company doesn't have enough, I don't have enough. And I need, the company needs more money and I need more of the company's money, right? So, but when we're involved with the cause of it, that's going to help. See, when people understand their value, understand the value of their piece of the puzzle, okay, people will do more for recognition and cause than they will for money. That's been my experience for the last 4 decades. It is amazing what people do. People will work longer, overtime, put in extra outside when they realize that they play a significant part in the overall objective and the cause of the company. People love, everybody loves a cause-oriented type of operation, because there's value there. It gives you integrity. And so I think that's just a huge part. We're going to change, hey, listen, there's some great things that are happening. So we need to promote it and not declare it, and that each one of them have a significant part and significant piece to this great cause that the company stands for. And that's why I think it's vital for them always to be a part of the bigger picture. When I'm dealing with the top 1%ers in my business, okay, and then dealing with a brand new guy, guess what? They're both involved in the cause. They're both involved in realizing that we play a significant part in our communities, in our countries, and in the world, because we're making a difference. Everybody wants to make a difference, especially if they think they could.
Right. I love it. I love it. Dennis Dowdell here, keynote speaker and best-selling author. How can our listeners connect with you?
Well, they can just go to maximizeyou.com, Y-O-U, maximizeyou.com. And all my information's there. My book information is there. I'm doing a seminar here in the Dallas area. We're having a virtual, live stream as well, a seminar on maximizing your potential. Plans are what we plan to do, but our potential is what we could do. And so all that information is going to be at the seminar, so that they can get the information again at maximizeyou.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, no, I was curious. Do we know if Dak Prescott's going to show up for that? I'm kidding around. I'm kidding around. Football in Texas, it's all about the potential.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Bad jokes.
Thank you both. And thanks everybody for listening to this 5-part series on mastering change. We hope this information in this series has been helpful. Thanks for joining us and take care.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.